Good evening. Welcome back to my late night spook show here on the Horror and Metal channel. I'm Hellhound, and for today we go and count down my top 10 favorite metal albums from the year 1988. So let's go and get started. Number 10 is Power Metal by Pantera. Yeah, this came out before Cowboys from Hell, and it was one of their, unofficial indie releases. But I think it's really, really good. This is actually has my favorite Phil Anselmo vocal performance. He hits those high notes. He sounds just like Halford and Jeff Tate. It's freaking awesome. Dimebag Darrell has some great riffs, some great solos. And he even sings lead on one song, which is pretty cool. I think Rock the World is probably my favorite song, which is the opening track. But yeah, it's just great. And I kind of wish they'd stayed like this. Maybe not glam metal per se, but I wish Phil had sang like this like throughout their career. That'd have been cool. But you know, I really dig their stuff after this too, of course. But yeah, Power Metal by Pantera, my 10th favorite metal album from 1988. Number 9 is going to be Blood, Fire, Death by Bathory, which is probably their first Viking metal album, or at least how it got started. Their foray into the subgenre, and they may have even invented it. It's a great album. Quorthon was just way too talented for his own good. He did everything. He did all the vocals, all the instruments, and everything. He was just amazing. Rest in peace. I really love A Fine Day to Die. That is an awesome song. It just starts out really slow and kind of melodic and kind of woeful, and then it gets really, really heavy and just makes you want to headbang uncontrollably. It's just awesome. Great album. Blood, Fire, Death by Bathory, my 9th favorite metal album from 1988. Next we have Operation Mindcrime by Queensryche. This could probably be a little higher, but oh well. These aren't really in any strict order or anything. It's a concept album. It has some of my favorite Jeff Tate vocal performances, some of my favorite Chris DeGarmo riffs and solos, and just amazing. This is one of their best albums, I would say. Yeah, Operation Mindcrime by Queensryche, my 8th favorite metal album from 1988. But like I said, it could probably be higher very well. Very much so. All right, next is The New Order by Testament. Probably my favorite Testament album. I really like the way Chuck Billy sings The Preacher. He hits those high notes. Follow the preacher! It just sounds great. And Alex Skolnick is one of my favorite guitarists ever. His riffs and solos are just immaculate. Truly spectacular. And The Preacher probably is my favorite song. But I also really like Disciples of the Watch, Eerie Inhabitants, the title track, Trial by Fire, Into the Pit. Great stuff. So definitely check this album out if you haven't already. It's one of Testament's best work. I think it is my favorite by them. So yeah, definitely check it out. The New Order by Testament. It's good stuff. All right, next we have No Rest for the Wicked by Ozzy Osbourne, which is his first album featuring guitarist Zakk Wylde. And one of the best, I'd say. It's got some great songs on it. Miracle Man, Devil's Daughter, Crazy Babies, Breaking All the Rules, Bloodbath in Paradise, Tattoo Dancer, Demon Alcohol, even a couple bonus tracks on this release as well. So No Rest for the Wicked by Ozzy Osbourne, my 6th favorite metal album from 1988. Yeah, it's great. Check it out. Number 5 is going to be And Justice for All by Metallica. And while I don't enjoy this one quite as much as their first 3, it's still definitely my 4th favorite. And they're still very heavy back then. And I think this is their first featuring Jason Newsted on bass after Cliff Burton sadly passed. I think this has my favorite, one of my favorite James Hetfield vocal performances is on this album for sure. He sings really great here. Yeah, Kirk Hammett's riffs and solos are very memorable. Jason Newsted's bass playing is almost inaudible. You can barely hear it at all. It was almost mixed out completely, which I really don't care for. I think they should release a special edition where you can actually hear the bass. That would be nice. But even Lars Ulrich's drumming was pretty on point here. So yeah, it's a great album. Blackened's a great song, probably my favorite song on the album. The title track, Eye of the Beholder, One, of course, that's a fan favorite. Harvester of Sorrow, lots of great stuff. And like I said, I don't enjoy it quite as much as their first three, but it's still pretty great. It was kind of before they became, it was right before they became way too commercial and way too mainstream sounding, in my opinion. All right, next we have Leprosy by Death. This is my favorite album by Death, and one of my favorite death metal albums, if not my favorite death metal album ever. Yeah, Chuck Schuldiner had a great lineup here. Rick Ross on guitar, Bill Andrews on drums, Terry Butler on bass. Yeah, basically the Massacre lineup. And they were also in the band back when it was called Mantis as well. So, yeah, kind of confusing, but pretty cool. Yeah, they did a great job here. I love Chuck Schuldiner's vocals and his guitar playing. He's my favorite death metal guitarist for sure. His riffs and solos are just top notch as always. His vocals, he sounds like he's about to vomit on the mic. It's perfect for death metal. It sounds really, really awesome. Possibly my favorite vocal performance is his. But yeah, like I said, this is my favorite Death album, and I think it's just amazing. It's a death metal masterpiece for sure. So yeah, if you haven't checked it out yet, do yourself a favor and do so, because you will not be disappointed, especially if you're into death metal. All right, number 3 is Seventh Son of a Seventh Son by Iron Maiden. Now, I know this album gets a little bit of flack every once in a while. It's well liked usually, but I see some people bashing it because it's too like synth pop or whatever. But I think it's really, really good. I like Moonchild, Infinite Dreams, Can I Play with Madness, The Evil That Men Do. The title track is probably my favorite song on the album. The Clairvoyant. Yeah, it's great stuff. It was the last album to feature guitarist Adrian Smith. He would later come back a few albums later. But and it has some of my favorite solos of his too. Yeah, him and Dave Murray are just amazing. They're an amazing guitar duo. Bruce Dickinson's vocals are on point as always. Steve Hare is my favorite bass player. His bass lines are just groovy as hell. Nico McBrain's drumming. Yeah, everybody does a phenomenal job, and this is a great album. And I think it's become kind of underrated in recent years because, like I said, a lot of people don't like some people don't like the direction that it took. But like I said, it is still pretty well liked within the metalhead community, I would say. Thankfully, because it's great. Yeah, Seventh Son of a Seventh Son by Iron Maiden, my third favorite metal album from 1988. All right, number 2 is going to be Them by King Diamond. Oh yeah, you knew this had to be on the list. Yeah, great album. It's a concept album, just like Operation Mindcrime by Queensryche that I talked about earlier. Pretty cool, creepy, spooky story that King tells through the lyrics. Yeah, he's one of my heroes. I love his ghastly vocals and his haunting lyrics and his awesome high falsettos just make for a great combination. That combined with Andy LaRocque's killer guitar playing is just spectacular. This is the first album to feature Pete Black on guitar and Hal Patino on bass. And we also have Mickey D on drums, who was also in Motorhead. Yeah, great album. It's just phenomenal. I love this. I love Welcome Home, The Invisible Guests, Bye Bye Missy, Broken Spell, the title track, Coming Home. Just great. Yeah, great songs. Great album. If I think of any honorable mentions, I'll leave them in the description below. As for my number 1 choice, of course, it's got to be South of Heaven by Slayer. Was there any doubt? Oh yeah, this is a phenomenal album. It's got some of my favorite. It's a little more slower. It seems like a weird word to describe Slayer, but it's a little slower than Rain and Blood, and a little more melodic, which I kind of like. I'm glad they didn't just try to make Rain and Blood Part 2. I'm glad they did something a little different. They didn't, just keep things fresh and not just retread the same formula over and over. But yeah, Kerry King and Jeff Hanneman, their riffs and solos are just incredible. Dave Lombardo's drumming is superb. Tom Araya really was the voice of hell back then. He does those deep demonic growls and those high-pitched screams. It just sounds awesome. Yeah, my favorite songs are, of course, the title track. I love that opening, which is the first song of the album. I love that opening guitar riff. That's just so awesome. It's very fun to play as well. Silent Scream, Live Undead, Behind the Crooked Cross, Mandatory Suicide, Ghosts of War, Dissident Aggressor, which is a cover of a Judas Priest song. Spill of Blood. Yeah, great album. It's just awesome. Yeah, they did a great job. Yeah, I love these guys. I saw them in concert twice. Both times they put on a spectacular show. And yeah, it's really sad that they're not a band anymore. But we'll always have great albums like this to look back upon. Their legacy will never be forgotten. Long live Slayer. South of Heaven is an absolute must. All right, guys. Well, be sure to let me know what your favorite 1988 metal albums are in the comments below. As always, thank you for watching my Late Night Spook Show here on the Horror and Metal channel. I'm Hellhound. Until next time, later.